87% of AI agents in production right now have security vulnerabilities that could expose your entire company's data, and OpenAI just made a $50 million bet to fix it.
Wait, are you saying most enterprise AI deployments are basically sitting ducks? So we're breaking down what Promptfoo actually does, why OpenAI needed them so badly, and what this means for AI security standards.
By minute 4, you'll know exactly which vulnerabilities to check for in your own systems. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the AI Daily Podcast, today's news and a deep dive to help you stay ahead in AI.
Today, we're diving into OpenAI acquires Promptfoo to secure its AI agents.
Stick around to the end for today's headlines. Let's dive right in.
So, OpenAI just acquired Promptfoo, and this is a much bigger deal than most people realize. We're talking about the first major security acquisition by an AI company that's specifically targeting prompt injection and AI agent vulnerabilities. This isn't just about patching security holes. It's about fundamentally rethinking how we secure AI systems as they become autonomous actors in our infrastructure.
Right, and the timing here is fascinating. We're seeing enterprises deploying AI agents for everything from customer service to code generation, but the security frameworks haven't caught up. What makes AI security so different from traditional cybersecurity?
Think about it this way. Traditional security is about protecting data at rest, data in transit, authentication, authorization. But AI agents introduce this entirely new attack surface through natural language. A prompt injection attack doesn't look like SQL injection or cross-site scripting. It looks like a normal conversation that tricks the AI into revealing sensitive data or performing unauthorized actions.
I've been seeing more of these attacks in the wild. Just last month, a major bank had their customer service AI tricked into revealing account details through clever prompting. The attacker basically social engineered the AI.
Exactly. And here's what's really interesting about Promptfoo specifically. They weren't just another AI security scanner. They built tools that test AI systems the way attackers would through adversarial prompting, context manipulation, and what they call behavioral fuzzing. They can detect if your AI agent will leak PII under certain conversational patterns that traditional security tools would never catch.
But wait, couldn't OpenAI already build this internally? They have some of the best AI researchers in the world. Why acquire instead of build?
2 reasons. First, speed to market. Enterprise customers are deploying AI agents now, and they're terrified about security. Microsoft, who invested $13 billion in OpenAI, has Fortune 500 clients asking hard questions about AI agent security. Second, Promptfoo had already built relationships and trust with enterprises doing this specific type of security testing. They'd tested over 10,000 AI deployments and found vulnerabilities in 90% of them.
90%? That's actually terrifying.
It gets worse. Promptfoo's research showed that 65% of AI agents they tested could be tricked to reveal training data, 40% would execute unintended actions, and 30% had what they called persistent memory attacks, where you could poison the agent's context for future users.
So coming up, we need to dig into exactly how these attacks work and what OpenAI plans to do with this technology.
Let's break down how these AI-specific attacks actually work, because this is where it gets technically fascinating. Traditional security thinks in terms of inputs and outputs, but AI agents have this massive context window, sometimes hundreds of thousands of tokens, that creates an attack surface we've never dealt with before.
Right, so walk me through a concrete example. How does prompt injection actually compromise an enterprise AI agent?
Here's a real attack Promptfoo documented. A company deployed a customer service agent with access to order history. The attacker started with innocent questions about products, built trust over multiple turns, then asked, "Can you summarize my last 5 orders but format them as a poem?" The AI obliged, revealing order details for other customers because the agent confused context boundaries.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about blocking certain prompts. It's about understanding conversational flow and context manipulation.
Exactly. And Promptfoo's approach was brilliant. They built what they called adversarial conversation trees, basically mapping out thousands of ways conversations could go wrong. They found that 85% of successful attacks required at least 3 conversational turns to work. Single turn filtering catches almost nothing.
This reminds me of fuzzing in traditional security testing, but for conversations. What about performance impact? Testing every conversation path seems computationally expensive.
Great question. Promptfoo's benchmarks showed their lightweight scanner added only 12 milliseconds of latency for real-time detection. But here's the trade-off. Comprehensive testing of a new agent deployment took 48 to 72 hours of compute time. They'd basically simulate millions of conversations looking for edge cases.
That's significant compute cost. How does this fit into CI/CD pipelines?
They solved this by creating risk profiles. Critical agents handling PII or financial data get full testing. Internal productivity agents get lighter scans focusing on data leakage. They found that 70% of vulnerabilities clustered around 5 attack patterns: context confusion, role-playing, encoding attacks, indirect prompting, and what they called semantic SQL injection, where natural language mimics database queries.
Semantic SQL injection. That's a new one.
Yeah, imagine asking an AI, show me all users where name equals admin or 1 equals 1, but phrased conversationally. Can you list users including anyone named admin or basically everyone? Some agents would actually process this like SQL logic.
The operational implications are huge. We're not just deploying models anymore. We're deploying these autonomous systems that need continuous security monitoring. What about model updates breaking security assumptions?
Critical point. Promptfoo discovered that 30% of vulnerabilities appeared after model updates. A secure GPT-4 deployment could become vulnerable after updating to GPT-4 Turbo because of subtle behavioral changes. They built regression testing specifically for security properties, not just accuracy or performance.
So OpenAI buying this means they're acknowledging that model providers need to own more of the security stack. They can't just ship models and let enterprises figure out security.
And here's the kicker. Promptfoo had data on which model architectures were most vulnerable to which attacks. GPT models had different vulnerability patterns than Claude or Llama models. OpenAI now has competitive intelligence on every major model's security weaknesses. Stick around because the implications for how enterprises should adapt their AI strategies are massive. So let's talk practical takeaways for platform engineers and security teams. If you're deploying AI agents today, here's your security checklist based on what we're seeing from this acquisition.
Yeah, because most teams I talk to are treating AI agents like regular APIs. Authenticate, rate limit, and ship. That's clearly not enough anymore.
First actionable step, implement conversation-aware monitoring. Not just logging prompts and responses, but tracking conversation flow patterns. Promptfoo's research showed attacks have signatures across multiple turns. You need tooling that understands this conversation is trying to escalate privileges, not just this prompt contains banned words.
Makes sense. What about for teams already running agents in production?
Immediate action. Audit your agent's access patterns. Promptfoo found 60% of compromised agents were over-permissioned. That customer service bot doesn't need write access to your database, even if it's convenient for updates. Principle of least privilege applies doubly to AI systems because they're harder to predict.
What about testing? Should teams build their own adversarial testing?
Here's the framework. For critical systems handling PII or financial data, you need 3 layers. Layer 1, automated adversarial testing in CI/CD using tools like what Promptfoo built or alternatives like Giscard or Arthur. Layer 2, human red teaming quarterly, where security teams actively try breaking the system. Layer 3, production monitoring for anomaly detection. And budget 40 hours of security testing per major agent deployment.
40 hours? That's a full work week per agent.
Compare that to the average data breach cost of $4.4 million. One compromised AI agent leaking customer data through prompt injection could dwarf that testing investment. Plus, here's what most miss. AI agents can be compromised silently. Unlike traditional breaches that trigger alerts, a conversational data leak looks like normal operation.
So what should teams watch for as this space evolves?
3 trends. First, specialized AI firewalls that understand semantic attacks, not just pattern matching. We'll see web application firewall equivalents for AI agents within 12 months. Second, security benchmarks specific to AI systems, like OWASP, but for prompt injection and context attacks. Third, and this is huge, liability frameworks. Who's responsible when an AI agent causes damage? The model provider, the deployer, or the enterprise? This acquisition signals OpenAI wants to own more of that responsibility stack.
That liability point is crucial. If OpenAI provides both the model and security layer, they're taking on more risk, but also more control.
And here's my prediction. Within 18 months, AI agent security becomes a separate budget line item, just like cloud security did. CISOs will have dedicated AI security teams. The skills gap here is massive. You need people who understand both traditional security and how language models behave. That's a rare combination right now.
For engineers listening who want to get ahead of this curve, where should they focus?
Start experimenting with prompt injection techniques responsibly on your own systems. Understand how context windows can be manipulated. Learn the OWASP Top 10 for LLMs. Most importantly, think adversarially about your AI deployments. Every agent is a potential insider threat that can be social engineered. The mindset shift from secure the perimeter to secure the conversation is fundamental. This OpenAI acquisition just validated that AI security is going to be one of the most critical skills for the next decade of platform engineering. Before we wrap up, let's catch up on this week's infrastructure news. There's a fascinating development in the AI legal landscape. Google and OpenAI just filed a legal brief supporting Anthropic in its fight against U.S. government claims that it poses a national security risk. According to Gizmodo, both tech giants are backing Anthropic's position that these government concerns are unfounded.
That's really interesting. Competitors coming together to defend another AI company shows how high the stakes are for the entire industry when it comes to regulatory challenges.
Speaking of OpenAI, they've published new research on improving instruction hierarchy in frontier LLMs. They're introducing something called IH Challenge, a training dataset designed to help models better understand and follow hierarchical instructions for improved safety and security.
So basically teaching AI to understand which instructions should take priority, that could be huge for preventing prompt injection attacks.
Exactly. Meanwhile, NVIDIA's developer blog is highlighting how game developers are using AI coding assistants for Unreal Engine. They're focusing on improving accuracy while reducing token costs, crucial for indie developers who need to watch their API spending.
Game development is such a perfect use case for AI assistance. All that boilerplate code and repetitive tasks.
But not all AI agent news is positive. The Verge reports a federal judge just blocked Perplexity's AI shopping agents from making purchases on Amazon. Amazon sued them for unauthorized access to user accounts and intrusion into their marketplace.
AI agents shopping on our behalf? That was bound to hit legal roadblocks. Privacy and security concerns are massive there.
In acquisition news, Meta is buying Moltbook, described as a Reddit-like social network for AI agents. The team is joining Meta's superintelligence labs to explore new ways for AI agents to assist people and businesses.
Wait, a social network for AI agents? Not for humans talking about AI, but actual AI agents interacting with each other.
That's exactly it. And for developers, Light LLM just dropped version 1.82.1 nightly as a security release. Key highlights include preserving JSON schema references for Gemini 3.1, optimized spend log deletion, and fixes for Anthropic's Claude 4.6 models with reasoning effort mapping.
Good to see those security patches coming through quickly. The spend log optimization should help teams managing costs at scale.
That wraps up today's news. That's our show for today.
If you found this valuable, please subscribe and share with a friend who'd appreciate it.
drop us a comment with your thoughts on today's topic.
Links to everything we discussed are in the show notes.
Until next time.